So, so I won't bore you about all my introduction. I think the presenter has done a fantastic job. And I work for publishing industry since 1989. So I'm born and raised in Hong Kong. I'm a Hong Kong Chinese. My first language is dialect of Cantonese, but I learned about characters of Chinese. My second language is English. So anybody can speak Cantonese here? Please raise your hand. Not many, so that I can. Oh, not enough to switch my presenting language to Cantonese. But second language is of course Hong Kong, and then my third is Mandarin. I have a company was started 10 years ago, which when I quit from John Wiley, and if you know you working with John Wiley now is they have establishment all around the world and listed in the US stock exchange, doing about $1.8 billion US. So I think so when I head back to my hometown and start my business, and so I never wonder why I'm here, 10 years before. But eventually I started a business in Hong Kong and then office in Beijing and also in Singapore and also in Hawaii. So our group of products is ranged from general studies to professional academic scholarly work. So, but today is not talking about my company. So I just want to begin, what I'm presenting for the association. Hong Kong Trade Book Publishers Association is a very young organization. It's independent. It just formed about 4 or 5 years ago. It's not for profit organization, but to unite all the active trade book publishers in Hong Kong, mainly in the Chinese language. Because Hong Kong, have about 7 point, close to about 8 million population, but 90%, 95% of them are Chinese, ethnic Chinese, so they speak and write and read in Chinese. So the industry is about, we calculated at about $500 million US per year, the turnover. So not a very big market, but it's considered a city. It is very focused. It is very vibrant, and perhaps you may think about in Hong Kong. How many of you have been in Hong Kong before? Okay, few, but still a lot of people not having chance to be in Hong Kong. I strongly encourage you to attend there someday. So our association is trying to help all the members, publishers to promote their business development around in Asia or around the world. And our product, of course, is mainly focused in Hong Kong. The members' products for Hong Kong, but also in Taiwan, but also in China. And some of the publishers, they always have operation in China. My one in Beijing, but some of them is either in Shanghai or also in Taiwan as well. So it's pretty active in the industry. Well, next one I want to present why I make it Hong Kong, because Malaysia Book Fair is coming up in about few days time. Malaysian Book Fair is more like a trade industry fair, which is most of the librarians will come over. But Hong Kong Book Fair is very much different. It's open to the public. It's more like a merchandise fair. It's more like a fan fair. Everybody come over. We have 1 million people visit fair every year, and we attract over about 500 exhibitors from over 330 countries, but mostly are in Hong Kong. But from the official statistic, the people spend about $200 US to visit. So But of course, our guest will be over 7 days just to create a turnover of $100 million of US. So it's really, really awesome. So in the other six or seven 100 millions, we will do more daily on the bookstore, okay, and school libraries or whatever. So today, why we, if you don't have a plan, I'm sure not many of you have a plan to go to Hong Kong to start a business. But so my topic is try to make sense how Hong Kong could be a stepping stone for you. Well, China, of course, I set the scene. China is, of course, the largest book market in the world. We have about close to 1.4 billion people. And the best is they have only one language and one tax system. Well, you publish English book in Australia, from Australia. You go through a lot of different, you go for a global market, but you never have, you experience different governments, tax law, tax, and different things, all the hassle. But in China, it's only one country, right, which is about 1.4 billion, all under one system. But the industry is highly regulated, so that means you know how to get into it. And by far now is no foreign publishers is allowed to operate in 100% control. That means you can't really go into China to start your own business on full footing. You have to work for a different form of business partnership, joint venture or whatever. Still, I think foreign publishers have low luck in there. And the Chinese government has, I can see, there is no intention to release this change in a short period of time. And there is official publishers in China is close to about 600 only. Just now the presenter said in Malaysia we also have 500, right? 500 over publishers. In just a big market, there's only about 600 publishers. Awesome, right? Awesome. But in China, for general book publishing, they no longer really just rely on 600 publishers, but there is a lot of small publishing house spring off from there. They are not really have acquired the full status of publishing house, but they work with a big publishing house in many different creative ways. And they say this publishing house will be about 5,000 or more. There's no official kind of statistic about that. So in the market, yearly they were producing about 250,000. How was that? It's 250,000 new books or reprint books in the market. So this is tremendous competition, huge competition. So I don't think you put 25 to 250,000 new books put in our popular bookstore. That would be quite an awesome scene, right? So you can see, this is so many books come out yearly. So competition is extremely high. Okay, so this is my core argument today. So why Hong Kong can make some sense to you? Now, first of all, Hong Kong has there's plenty of supply of highly educated and trained publishing professionals. And more than often, they are bilingual. Bilingual in a way, they both know about Chinese, they know all about English. So which is hard to get, even in China, right? Where they connect, including you need bilingual editors, you need some translator, you need some marketers, you need some sales. As a foreign publisher, you need somebody who can read your mind. I have that experience before because I was in charge for, Asia operation. We have different, countries, But first of all, the main asset for our staff is they must have English proficiency. so that we can communicate internally, right? But while they have also know about the local languages, then they can communicate externally. But Hong Kong have this kind of advantage, and Hong Kong has a very high, the university education is one of the best in the world. So, and the work ethic is, is very, very productive, search for excellence. So, in Hong Kong, people can travel and connect to PRC and to the world without much restriction, because this is Hong Kong is under one country, two system. We can travel on our own passport. We can reach 250 countries without any restriction. We don't apply for visa or anything. So they can really communicate to it, and also for free. Okay, and Hong Kong is one thing. It's the easiest place. It's easier place to start business. You can start a company within 3 days or a week. We have a very well-established, infrastructures. And one more importantly, Hong Kong is very low tax. All right, we don't have GST. We are not as lucky as Malaysia to have a GST system. So there is no intention to have GST introduction, and only the company have to do tax for profit tax only. Okay, and also if your company have a Hong Kong edition, also because Hong Kong is very highly advanced society, where the products have to be in excellence, and also they can command a high price, so that the average, just the Mr. They said the average price of general books in Malaysia is ringgit. What is $8? $8 or $10. But in Hong Kong, it's about 50 ringgit, right? So your chance of making profit is very high. Okay, it's about $15 per general fiction books, or maybe $10 starting. So it is very, very high margin market, and because of this, you produce book in a much higher qualities. In the terms of investment in there. In one book project, you put more resources to better design, better editors, and better printing qualities. So that become a kind of a notion that Hong Kong product is much superior. So once the book get a Hong Kong edition, it stand a higher chance, because you see, when the books is coming up from many sources in mainland China, you say, oh, this is a book is originated from Hong Kong edition. Oh, that makes added values for your competitiveness for your books. But of course, Hong Kong is still considered non-PRC publications. That will be treated the same category as both from US and UK and the like. All the foreign non-Malaysia version, you're still subject to a lot of scrutiny from when you publish your editions in China. And also, when you working in the home edition and you try to license to the mainland China, and all these contracts you can sign is, you say you can be all the legal matters will be dealt with Hong Kong court. Hong Kong court has a rule of law, all based on the UK system. So your business, all these kind of entity or business interests will be well protected fairly, by the court of Hong Kong. Okay. Oh, it's taking. I tried to make it even shorter. All right. First of all, how? So you have many options. You have a lot of resources. You want to do business in China, and what's the steps? I give you, because know I'm a Hong Kong-based country in publishing, so you may see that it's a lot of bias, but anyway, listen to it. See, this trick may help you a lot. All right. Well, I suggest one of the low-cost, low-risk approach. And of course, to start publishing, before you start operating all things, you install a team of editors and all these things. I think the first good way for you to least cost is by, just like this, why the copyright trade fair makes sense, is licensing. Licensing is always the least risk, least cost. But of course, the defects is about short term. You hit and run. Okay, this year I license you 5, but I cannot guarantee you will be next year will be 10, maybe 15. You cannot escalate, right? Just your business in that way. Well, first, of course, step 1 to find a Hong Kong book publishing partner. Well, I'm here. I'm representing them. So you want to do it? I just do a one business matching. That's the one just now, 15 minutes ago, before this session. There's a Shanghai company who is doing. It's a movie house, movie production house. They want to publish book, and market worldwide. So I'm matchmaking. So I'm not doing for that part of business. I introduce you to contact who and who, right? So start your own opportunity. Okay, thank you very much. So business is done in 10 minutes. So I just get that. So that's why I'm here in time. All right. So Hong Kong publishers, I think we have about active publishers about 100. All right. The good ones, maybe 10 to 15. But if you wish, I can do a help for you, because this is the very first time for me representing the Hong Kong publishing industry in such capacity. This is the very first time. So they're always the first time. So I'm delighted to doing it. And Hong Kong Book Fair, it's also one of the good ways for you to meet a lot of people. Hong Kong Book Fair, just do some promotion. Hong Kong Book Fair will start in July 15 to about 22, July 22nd. So it's about 7 days. All right. So all the active publishers will be there. So it's a good way to get there, to meet up, to see the size, what the scale of work, and almost you can say all kinds of publishing work you can find in Hong Kong. It's vibrant. It's all kinds, and also it also draw a lot of Taiwanese publishers there, and also Beijing from China as well. So it's a melting pot that you can get in there to meet a lot of new friends. Step 2, publish your Hong Kong version and establish credibility in market. All right. So if then you become a Hong Kong version, then your Hong Kong version you can sell relicensing further to in PRC partners. So it's the step 3 that makes it easy. Sell PRC rights. And also, because you from Malaysia, you do the translation copies in China as well. All right, so you invest some of the translation, or your partner will invest in that translation cost, and it also can sell to China as well. So you can create 2 derivative, revenue stream. So it's an easy way to doing it. All right, it's low cost. You want to test the water, I strongly recommend this way. All right, make a trip, book to Hong Kong Fair. Seems to be a better way. You want me a free advice? Make sure you book me on that session. So I'm happy to meet you. All right. Okay, that's a long-term approach. It is more long-term approach because then you want to do big business there. You want to start big. And you build a team in Hong Kong, and then you learn the market in Hong Kong, but also in China. All right? And you also the good thing is about investment is always about profit. right? Profit should be the first. But you know, publishing industry, you always come last, right? Because it's a long selling cycle. But eventually, for such a big market, I strongly recommend you, right? So be patient and build a team. Well, reason first, mainland author loves Hong Kong publishers. So eventually, when you want to become big in China, all right, because you want to work with the local publishers. I have one local project. I work with a mainland university author. All right, he teaches philosophy. He's a young guy, 30 something, in China Renmin University, which is one of the top 3 universities. All right, published a book for them. The first print run is 8,000 copies. But eventually, over a year, we sold about close to about 400,000. All right. So, or in China, the last year's 2014 or 2014, the most best-selling title, they sold about 3 million copies. 3 million copies. So the author is instant 10 million yen. Okay. All right. So he's a journalist. She is a journalist called Chai Jin. Well. So back to it, and because why mainland author want to work with Hong Kong publishers? Because when they publish a book, they not only sell in PRC, they can sell in Hong Kong. Eventually go to China, to Taiwan, to other overseas mainland Chinese market. So it's make them very happy. All right. So if you provide this kind of opportunity or platform for them, they're most likely to work with you. And that's why that young guys want to work with us. All right. I didn't introduce his wife. His wife, her book will sell 1 million copies. All right. And then because we have a Hong Kong publishing platform, she wants to work with us now. So this is very interesting kind of a very technical way to win the local authors. Okay, reason 2 I've mentioned before. Hong Kong version is a marketing strategy. You're marketing your own product well because it's a Hong Kong made, right? Made in Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong version, it's better qualities and all these things. Right? Reason 3 is a margin of Hong Kong version is much higher. As I mentioned, the retail price is higher, and also is a Hong Kong city is very concentrated in the very all the messages will be fully known within Hong Kong within 24 hours, right? They can easily spread out through internet, Facebook, so everybody knows your book. Once your book hits the market and become popular, right, over into about 1 or 2 days, all people, few millions people in Hong Kong will know it, right? Whereas a lot of Facebook, social media, or mass media, all right. That's why our book makes popular. All right, we are more our company is focused on all these finance, investment key icon. So when we publish a book, we just make sure you get interview all the mass media, TV, news, radio, weeklies, magazines, newspaper. And also we do on the social media. So within 2 or 3 days, everyone knows you got new books. So go to about 100 over bookstore in Hong Kong, and then it will sell. We can sell about 2,000-3,000 within a week, easily. In one time, it is very, very hard, super hard. You can sell about 10,000 copies over 2 days. Super hard. Everybody wants to scramble. Alright, so reason for Hong Kong version can ship to Taiwan because why? You never know about this trick before. Hong Kong and Taiwan, they use the same Chinese character system, which is, we call it traditional Chinese characters, which is the old form or before 1950s before, they will use they call it complex one. It's more complex, it's more, strokes. It's harder to learn, harder to write. In PRC, they use simplified Chinese version. So since Hong Kong and Taiwan share the same characters, and they can read, we can use. So Hong Kong version will ship to Taiwan. Likewise, Taiwan publishers will ship the books to Hong Kong. So it's a mix of, we do share. Our books also ship to, Taiwan's, So that is one of the easiest way to do. Because I know it's a lunchtime, as I promised, I keep my speech to be 15-30 minutes. So it's a good time. I didn't talk a lot because we'll bore you all these things, because it's more important is this part, Q&A. Anything you want to know about, which I never mentioned, maybe use about 10 to 15 minutes to finish it. Alright? And then we enjoy the downtime. I like Nasi Lemak a lot, sir. Okay.
Alright. Okay, let's open to the floor for question and answer session. Anybody has a question? I have one.
Okay.
Alright. How competitive is it, a book published by a Hong Kong publisher compared to a local PRC published book in China? So, in terms of,
I'm sorry?
How is the competition like between the Hong Kong
Competition.
Competition.
Competition, okay.
Yeah, between Hong Kong published book and also a PRC published book within the China one, especially on the pricing and content.
Okay, maybe I didn't explain quite clearly. First of all, Hong Kong version cannot ship to PRC market, open market, unless you're given a lot of approval from the government. Right, that takes a lot of scrutiny, something you cannot. So, and also, practically, if you ship our Hong Kong version, which is in traditional Chinese, the Chinese people cannot really like to read in that way. Alright, so it cannot be a big sell. But we do sell a lot in our airport, that the mainland tourists come over to Hong Kong, they will buy, the Hong Kong Chinese version, right? They have a thinking about, a perception about Hong Kong version will have more content, more juicy content, right? In the version instead in the mainland version. So what I'll do in Hong Kong publishers, what we do, they will be more like work with a local, like for ourselves. I work with China Renmin University Press as a co-partner. We co-share the product. Alright, we share the product, so we do all the productions, they will do the market. So officially it's a mainland PRC product, but the content is created by us. So we share the profit in the end. But of course it's under the law of PRC, or China's law, that everything will fit into their approval, or or kind of control. And but how would they competing? I think it's very fierce market competition. They try. I think honestly, Hong Kong publishers or mainland publishers, how can they compete is up to individuals. How aggressive they are. I think they're very aggressive. But in China, and they sell more books online than in the bookstore. And you see, China is so big. It's very, very big. And everything is transacted. More and more merchandise transaction is transacted online. So that's why you should buy Alibaba stock in New York Stock Exchange. That becomes the most expensive, almost most expensive company in the world. But because why? Daily, they have a very interesting date for online purchase. They call it November 11. November 11. How to make that date? I don't know why, because they say they put in it's a day of singles, all right? So they say 11, 1, 1, 1, 1. So you don't get double. So say it's a very poorest time. For single adult, you don't have a partner, it's a solitude. So Alibaba, Mr. Ma, they create this kind of notion. That's the day you want to purchase. Make yourself happy. Alright? So in one day, they say last November 11th, over one day, they record more than like, how to say, it's a 50 billion, over 50 billion renminbi, which is divided by 6, will be, how many, 6, will be $8 billion US, just for one day transaction. Everybody will go crazy. It's a low, high discount, and so that's why you can see the magnitude of China consumer market. But of course, they sell a lot of, not only just book, right? So, but I mind you, when the market is so big, competition is always fierce. But you are the smart guy. I think publishing people are very smart, right? So they know the way how to work with it. So I think because also, you know, we stand a better chance because you open to the US practices or the UK, you learn from the world. I think Malaysia publishers, especially, or Hong Kong publishers, they will stand a better chance because there's always much more freedom to outreach, outlearn than your competitors in England.
How about the pricing? Because you're saying that when you deal with the Hong Kong publisher, there's a bigger margin. But what about
oh yeah.
selling price?
For mainland China now, because of high inflation, that means in the past 20 years, when you sell a book, it's only about 20, maybe a dollar US. Okay, but now it's about $5 in average. So now they're coming up much more higher price, and also, but it's still a long way from in Hong Kong version. But you don't come, you hardly can sell about a million copies of book in Hong Kong, never in the history of Hong Kong. All right. So, but in China, it's easy. You gain by a multi-volume. So a lot of general trade company, they generate about 100 million sales by selling one book, right? So that is how big. But in average in mainland China, I think the biggest one now, but they're doing a more language, English language learning, and also all the language. They're the biggest. They call the foreign language press. Remember this name, FES, foreign language press. Or why answer? I don't know. Anyone? But this is the why answer. Okay. Yes, that's one. This is the biggest one. Is about the turnover is about 2.8 billion renminbi, which is divided by 6 will be 500 million. No. Close about 500 million US dollars. This is the biggest. In average, easily you can find publishers, they can be coming about 100 to 150 million US turnover. Right. In China, there will be about 20 to 30 big companies. They would commanding this kind of volume. And general publishers, the largest one, they do about close to about 100 million US per year. They call it CITIC publishing, CITIC, CITIC publishing. So it's interesting. So of course, you want now, there's a way for you to go to China to doing, for the scholarly or academic professional publishing. You can go join the Beijing Book Fair, Beijing International Book Fair, which will be the last week of August. You can go there. That's a good one. But if you want to go for general trade books, that will go for one occasion will be in January, where all these general publishers will gather in Beijing. Mostly, every year in Beijing, they will be, they'll do a lot of transaction learning. So, but they are not supposedly for international. All right. So it's a little bit complicated, but find the partners and then you can guide it through. Okay.
Any questions from the floor? Yes.
It's
Leave the mic coming to you.
Another.
All right.
Brian McIntyre, independent content creator. I just wondered if you could maybe give us an indication of the penetration of e-books. The penetration of e-books into mainland China at present, and give us an indication of how it could grow in the future.
okay. Ebook, similarly, China government is also making it as same control as for print books as well. So you cannot easily sell an ebook in there. So basically, other than the allowed site, all right. So basically, people cannot go in there. So if you're in China, you cannot really, can run around the whole world internet. Some of the sites are blocked. So for selling rights or selling ebooks, you have to be a designated, platform. And Amazon is there. Amazon China is there. But we only sell the books who has approval for print book. So they have an e-version, so they can sell that. So anything that they are not being approval or given ISBN, ISBN. So you cannot be called a legitimate product or legitimate book, so you cannot sell that. So I know the second question you will follow up is how's the market size in there? I would say because we're also doing the e-product in China as well. At the moment, it's nothing quite like in US that people will about 30% of the books are in e-book and 70% are print book traditional. But in China, it's still a long way. I think it's only a few percent, like 5%. And mostly they will be doing, not in America. Kindle is not very popular in China. And most people read it is illegal download on Kindle. And they're not really buying it. And not that much. I've never heard a story that there's a Kindle sold 1 million copies in China yet. And they have a few like non-Kindle platform. They were trying to do it where people is selling only about 1/4 of the print book price. Then starting to have people start to buying in. So not many publishers actually are really interested to cut away such a great profit to focus on ebooks, because the margin of producing a book is so high that the print books product is very, as a matter of fact, is more lower. So if you just even on the selling on the ebook price, then I don't see they really have a room for them to survive in their own way. So and also the ebook population, or ebook readers population is still a very small part. So most people are still concentrating in doing the traditional print books, while ebook is a kind of an incremental business. So that's the way they approach so far. But you never say never. China can change overnight. The taste, the change. I can say the largest online purchasers growth is always in China. It's always in China. All right. If you're selling this kind of jacket and all these things, merchandise, if you go for Alibaba.com, you make a big sale. All right. So, but unfortunately, publication is a highly regulated market. All right.
Yes, one more question back here.
Yep.
Hi, Derek. Quick
Yeah.
check with what is the current state of piracy in PRC market?
In one word, rampant. Rampant. Yeah, I think especially for unfortunate bad news for all these kind of manga comics one, you know. Um, Especially they love, the kids love all these kind of comics books. They love to read, but online, just like and they very much in the, there's one horror story. I don't know whether you believe it. Is the Japanese comics publishers, they publish a book today online or publish the print books in the street. The second day you will find a pirated copies translated on the internet for free, just for sharing. Alright, that's why our business, one of the members of the Hong Kong comics publishers, they say they surrender after years of rampant piracy. They cannot beat them. They cannot beat them. So far, they have been so good, so fast, so efficient. So it's very tough. But the good news is, last week I attended the Hong Kong Custom Excise Department, which is the anti-piracy agency in Hong Kong. We'll meet the chief, and then they say now they're working with mainland China and also with the Interpol. And they now, because all this kind of online kind of piracy can be done, justly can be done. But just when the publishers is willing to work with, to cooperate with the authority, you should report this kind of piracy case, they will take action. And China's government, they want to do it as well. They have a wish to do it now. They want to be a good global citizen. So if you report to them, they will do it. And the Hong Kong government is very effective. Well, in the future, to combat all this piracy, you need to install a cyber police force in your house. Or you have to work out, or work with the society. Alright, so that's why publishing associations should do the work together, right? We join forces, that they enhance the cyber police. And in fact, the Hong Kong record company has been doing this now. The music industry, they cannot fight them, so they join them. And then now YouTube is free now, so they make the way of living on opening concert, right? Now the kids, they pay 10 times more to see Justin Bieber, right? All these people, you pay 10 times more. They even lead a better life than before. Alright, so, but now in the cyber crime, it's easier to detect because you leave the trace. Actually, it's much better than in the past in the photocopying, where the photocopier can lay in the countryside. You never know, in the warehouse, you never know, and put in the market. In the cyber, you cannot hide. The Brick Brothers really can come on you. They cannot hide. It's easier actually, but it is also some of the problem is our publishers. We never work together with the authority. I strongly recommend you should do it, and there's no way for them to hide.
We have time for one more question. Any more questions from the floor?
One question: do we serve free lunch here?
I have to check with the organizer.
Okay.
Okay, I have one question.
You have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about the reception of English language books? I mean, storybooks in English, especially for children.
Or in Hong Kong or in China?
In Hong Kong.
Okay. I think in Hong Kong, the parents are more likely prefer the kids to be English educated. So they strongly encourage the kids to buy English book. Right? It's no problem. I think one quarter of our total market is really concentrated on kids book, learning, storybooks. So Malaysian publishers stand a chance, right? If you English language comics or students storybooks, you can better sales in Hong Kong, and price hike too. They can easily buy books for the parents are willing to pay about $20 or $30 kind of storybooks, good quality. But in China, I think they're a little bit far behind about learning second language. A very small part of our, well, basically because of their education system as well. They only start learning about English in secondary school. So I think the parents are not too comfortable to have the kids to learn English books and translated English book. They are very welcome. Okay, or bilingual is okay. So you hardly can sell one mono English book into China, and they don't have a channel at all. And the marketing, basically they don't. Well, my staff, she can speak in Beijing. She can speak very well English. And her husband is the general manager of the foreign publishers. Okay, I won't name the name. Alright, they can speak very good. When they interact, I speak in English or they speak in English, they all can well converse in English. But at home, once I asked them, did you talk to your daughter in English? Never. I said, why? You have to learn them to be international, right? I said, no, Chinese don't speak English. Alright, they don't speak English. For the cultural sense, for daily life. But for work, it's okay. For study, it's okay. So everything is constituted to educational, you stand a better chance. Alright? But lifestyle-wise, they don't really use English in there. So that is my own observation. I hope it can help. So folks, enjoy your lunch. Alright? Thank you very much for your time and patience.
Okay, thank you very We have a token of appreciation. I would like to call upon Dato' Ivan to come on stage. Dato' Ivan.